Welcome to the video. If you are new here, really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and check out the channel. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, good to see you again. It is currently Tuesday, December 26th. Yesterday was Christmas, so I opted to move my off day from Friday to yesterday, spend time with family, get a little extra sleep in during the holiday. Today, since we're just gonna shift everything one day back, we have 3 easy miles at aerobic pace. It did snow, so sidewalks might be a little slick, a little slippery, so I'm expecting maybe paces might be a little slower just to account for being careful as I'm running today. Just being mindful of that going into it, feeling nice and rested, ready for another week of training. Let's go train. 3 miles done, just cooling down on the track. Sarah's also running some repeats, just accompanying her as she's finishing those. Pretty solid. Again, felt super rested. Legs feel really good. It's always amazing how rested you can feel even just in a 24-hour period. Felt amazing. It was a little icy and muddy. Of course, I anticipated it being icy. Then I went down a dirt road section and it was covered in mud. Don't know why I didn't put those 2 and 2 together, but felt great. Looking forward to the rest of the week. Something I've been thinking about quite a bit this week with Christmas, anytime I'm going into a holiday season, is priorities and how to prioritize my time properly. I think that's something that a lot of people face, but especially endurance athletes. You're taking a lot of time out of your free day-to-day life to go and train. That means you have to have a little bit of a higher level of prioritization to ensure that your life is not being interfered with to accomplish your training. It's not something I'm perfect at by any means, but something that I work on. I thought it would be great this week to talk about some of the ways that I try to implement that into my day-to-day life. It is Tuesday evening. Typically that means that I have either a tempo or a track workout. There is a 4x1600 track workout on the schedule today. That being said, the sun is rapidly going down. Work went a little longer than I expected it to. So we're gonna adjust and do one of the 3-mile days from this week. Just get some mileage in, and I have a bunch of editing to do tonight. It'd be helpful to just balance out everything I have going on today, but still keeping in flow with training as we have it this week. Happy Thursday, and it is actually Thursday. It's not Wednesday, even though I said it was Tuesday yesterday. It is actually Thursday today, and today we have a tempo run, 55 minutes. We'll be splitting that into thirds, which is about 18:30. First 18 will just be casual warm up, kind of building towards the end to get the turnover up a little bit. The middle portion will be working down probably into the high 7s. This is just supposed to be at race pace, which for this build is half marathon. Then we will build all the way to the top of that and then have a 18:30 cool down, getting a little extra mileage in and working on the legs when they're a little bit tired. It is currently still light out, which is nice. We're gonna go get some good footage of this run and get a great workout in. Back from tempo run, went pretty good. Start off pretty cold. It's always hard to judge weather, especially where I live. It's near kind of a small lake. It can get pretty cold at the beginning, more than you'd think it would just looking at the forecast, but hit the paces that I wanted to, hit a ginormous hill in the middle of my tempo build that I miscalculated. We pushed through it, ended up being a pretty solid challenge. During that run, I was thinking more about topic for this week being priorities and how to prioritize. I think the biggest thing, at least for me personally, when it comes to successfully prioritizing and being able to prioritize the things that I want to in my life, is really having the opportunity to understand when things are shifting, when obligations arise, when new priorities come into the fold. That could be something super minute like daylight savings time that throws off your schedule, so now you're needing to shift things around slightly. Or it could be big things in life like getting engaged or married. Taking time to recognize that there's a shift in your life and then looking back and taking the opportunity to say, okay, now how am I going to structure my life to ensure that the things that I want to accomplish are being met and being prioritized, is super beneficial and something I think sets you down the right path to ensure that you're prioritizing properly. Just pulled up to the track. It is another beautiful sunny day out. Excited to go and get after it and wrap up this week. This workout is supposed to be 4 by 1600 at race pace. I'm going to be aiming to be anywhere between probably 742 to 730 or lower for those paces. Try to progress down as I get further into the workout, meaning I will start kind of what I think my race pace is, and then as I get further into the workout, maybe the last rep, I'll go a little faster, push a little harder towards those last couple laps. Typically, you will do a 1600 rest in between, or just a complete rest. Because I don't have all the time in the world right now, I'm going to be doing 800 meters rest as well as an 800 meter warm up just to get the legs going. That'll help me with a little bit of time. I might be losing out on a little bit of mileage doing it that way, but I'll make that up in some other way, either doing easy miles with Sarah or just adding on to some other more aerobic workouts. Looking forward to going and getting this workout done. We are back at the house and ready to dive into this workout. Before I get into the numbers of it, I did want to mention that workout was fairly cold. It looked sunny at the beginning, but the sun went down very quickly. I did not bring enough clothing, which is kind of ridiculous. It is the winter. The sun goes down quickly. So I'd always advise, when you have a opportunity, to bring more clothing than you think you need, especially in a track workout. You can have a jacket there next to you on the side or in a lane somebody's not using, or if you're even just doing repeats in some other loop, you can have clothing, dump it off, pick it up later. Just always advise in the winter, like I should know by now, bring more clothing than you think you need. Looking at the actual numbers of this workout, again, the intended workout was 4 by 1600 meters, and then we did 800 meter float as a recovery in between each rep. That was just under 6 miles worth of work. The average pace for the entire workout was 7:41 per mile. I was fairly surprised by that metric, and we'll dive into the intervals and take a look. One thing to note, I am using the Apple Fitness app in this scenario. It is much easier if you're using an Apple Watch to look at it because it will give you the data the way you recorded it. If you go into Strava, it will give you intervals based on where you are. So when I was looking at it in Strava, what it will show you is your quarter mile splits. And that wasn't particularly helpful when looking at how this workout actually went based on the kind of intervals we were running. As we look at the beginning of this workout, even the warm-up was quicker than I was expecting to be. The actual pace for this workout was supposed to be at race pace for a half marathon. 7:39 a mile is probably right around where I would think that race pace would be for me right now. That being said, if we look at the 1600 meter repeats, they're quite quick. I actually ended up doing the 1600 meters at 6:53, then 7:05, 7:07, and 7:04. As much as that's below the race pace I was expecting, my average heart rate was also low compared to where I would think it would be for those paces at that distance. That's going to be interesting with tomorrow's workout. I have a 5 mile by race pace workout. Just go out, run 5 miles at race pace. I may use that more as a time trial / pace trial test and really get an idea of where my true capacity is in that area. I really feel like I've maybe been underestimating my true race pace at this point in the block and probably further on. Just based on this workout, it seems like at that heart rate, I could potentially hold a lower pace than I think I might be able to. So tomorrow's workout will be a real good gauge as to where I actually am at this point in my block. Before I sign off from this video, I wanted to share a couple of the practical things I do every day and every week help me stay on top of the things I need to prioritize. The first one that I do pretty much weekly and daily is I really try to incorporate backwards planning, looking at the end of the week and then planning backwards to make sure that I have the time in each day to accomplish things that I need to. And then the night before each day, looking at the calendar and seeing what do I need to do? Do I have things lined up in a way that's going to allow me to practically achieve the things that I need to for that given day? The second thing that I do within each day, and it's something that I've been implementing more and more in my life, is doing things now. That can mean whatever it means to you, but for me, it is seeing something that needs to be done, and when that little thought pops in your head that I'll do that later or I can do that tomorrow, just do that thing. There may be certain things that take a large amount of time that you think that, and those are okay to push to a time and schedule them, and that can be part of your backwards planning. But when there's little things like dishes, taking out the trash, kind of around the house items that need to get accomplished, it's always better to do it now than to push it to any time in the future, because all that's going to do is eventually all of those things are going to pile up. You're going to think you're doing great with backwards planning, but then you're going to have things that will require your attention rather than you taking care of them throughout the flow of your life. It's always better to do that thing now when you have the opportunity rather than relying on time you don't know you'll have later and being forced to do it at a time when it's mostly inconvenient. Thank you so much for watching this video. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch all the way through. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel and helps people just like you find this content. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. Also turn on post notifications so that you can see videos right when they come out. Otherwise, we'll see you on Monday.